I'm going to show you how to use our book scanner at the Freel Library. So when you walk up to the book scanner, it is going to look like this. You'll get a computer and you'll get the book scanner itself. So this is going to be the camera up front. You can kind of see it, but this is a light. You're just going to flip that on. Here is your mat where you're going to place your document or book. If you look closer at the mat, it has different lines on how to properly line up your document or book. And so you can get a good line. This is not attached to anything, so this is going to, there's a little crosshatch there. You're just gonna make sure that it's centered on that. And you can see on the computer, and actually it's very faint right now, but it'll show you how it is lined up.
Now let's get into the software. It's called ScanLine, and there's going to be an easy link from the desktop for you to get to it. So right off the bat, I always want to make sure that my full mat is in view because this camera is not secured to the mat, so it can move. So we just want to make sure that at least these markings are in view. It's not dire, it just helps you line up your documents and the book. So let's look at some of our options. For the most part, this is going to be already preset before you sit down, but just in case it's not, let's just go over. Cropping, you're definitely going to want it to stay on automatic. If it's not on automatic, you're going to get the hand, you're going to get the full look of this mat. If it's on automatic, then it's going to get this green square and it's only going to scan this section. Especially scan mode, these are just designated by a single page and multiple page. For the most part, it's just going to be on multiple page. Scan interval, so this is going to be manual. You'll have to hit the start button that's over here every single time you want to hit a page. Automatic is just going to give you a countdown between each page. The same thing with these, it's just going to give you different intervals in between each page. Edge fixing, this is going to, if there is some kind of edge on the side or if it's not a complete rectangle or whatever shape your document is, it's going to help find a more defined edge. Auto page orientation, you don't really have to worry about that. Output format, this is going to be very important. So depending on what you're going for, you will probably either use a Word document or PDF searchable. This is definitely going to help you in the long run if you want to make a PDF document so that it can read itself to you. I just like to leave it on PDF searchable. Image settings, this is just going to be the same. I usually leave it on document, but there's also, if you have a color document, you can also change it to color original. The prefix, this is going to be the name of your document. I'm just going to name it, this is a document. All right, now let's get the document we want to scan and place it in the middle. And as you see, it's already giving that binding box of green, and we're just gonna hit the start button up here. So there is also a nifty little remote that is here as well. You can hit either one. I'm gonna hit this. Boop. Gives a countdown, and there you go. Now this, I had it set for multiple pages. It gives you a countdown, but if you disrupt the countdown, it's going to readjust and give you a new countdown. I'm only going to do 2, so I'm going to hit stop. Right over here is going to give you the preview of what you had just scanned. If you double click it, you're going to get a bigger view, and so far, this looks pretty good. Same thing with here, looks pretty good to me. You can either hit the X up here, or you can hit exit to get back to the screen. And then if you want to export to whatever you want your output format, you would just hit export. We're going to hold off on exporting until we get to book. Now let's start with the book option. Right off the bat, we see that there is a orange dotted line. That's going to help you line up your book. So let's look at these options. These are going to be pretty simple. Not a lot of this is going to change. For your cropping, you're definitely going to want curve fitting because it is a book and there's going to be curved edges on the top and on the bottom. So this is going to help straighten that out. Scan interval, it's just going to be your comfort level, whether you want manual or automatic. I prefer automatic because it's nice to have that countdown. So edge fixing is going to be the same as the document. It's just nice to have so it can give you crisper edges. Finger hiding, because this is a book, you are going to have to hold down the pages so you can get a good scan. So you need to make sure that you're holding at the very edge, but this part is going to take out that finger that you use to hold down the page, which is really nice. Output format, you still get all the same output formats that you did before, but we're still going to use the PDF searchable. You also get a color option. And the same thing with labeling your document. You just get a prefix right here and you can label it whatever you want. Let's get started. I'm going to hit start. I want to make sure that my fingers are on the edge, like I said, and you really want to make sure that the book is a little bit flatter so that it gets a good scan. This program is pretty smart, but you just want to help it along. And let's do one more page. All right, and let's go back up here, hit stop so it stops the automatic. And the same thing with document, we're going to double click and see how we did. For the most part, this looks pretty good. I like it. And there we are. That's how you do a book. So what we want to do now is to export these files, and it's the same way in the document. So right up here, we see export. If we hit that, these are our exporting options. The ones you'll use the most are this one up top, and then the third option right here. This one is going to have it so that it's one on top of another, or one underneath another. So it's going to be like page 1, and then underneath it, page 2, 3, 4, and so on. Over here, it's going to look like a regular book opened up, where it's going to have the left page and the right page. So it all depends on your preference. I'll do this one first, so that it's one on top of another. And you're just going to select export. And then here's the document. As you can see, it's just one underneath another. So page 106, 107, 108, and so on. Looks pretty good. Let's look at the other option. Here is the document exported with the third option. See that they're side by side? So whichever option you like, you can go for it. And guess what? You did it. You now know how to use the Freel Libraries book scanner. Have fun!